What's up, YouTube? It's your boy BI to the G, back with a brand new video. And since people got murdered on TikTok Live, I thought this killing on TikTok Live has all ended. Turns out I was living under a rock, bro. So I've got this video here from Crime Dynasty or Dynasty. Why would you even name a channel that? Crime Dynasty. I'll leave the channel link in the description below. You go check him out if you love this kind of crime videos and stuff. One of my favorite channels, actually. So I'm not going to talk too much. Subscribe, leave a like on the video, trying to get 3K. You know the drill. Don't let me talk plenty. Do it. It's free. It shows support, bro. It shows that you are actually interested in seeing me grow as a creator. And you would love to see or witness what I'll be able to do in the future. That's a bar, right? Okay, I'm not going to talk too much, but let's stop yapping. And let's get into the video and start cracking. I got a bar right there. Okay. So let's check this video out, okay? I'm not going to talk too much. Let's hop into it. See, I'm subscribed. So you go check him out. Subscribe if you love this kind of detective crime type shit, bro.
Flags tearing and burning pages of the Quran. What he didn't realize was that this viral act had just triggered the countdown to his own execution, broadcast later on TikTok Live. Here are some times people were murdered on live. June 22nd, 2025. The TikTok stream was already rolling when Gabriel began calling out for help.
Sabine El Piñonal, calle JJ Montesinos.
He shouted, his voice rising in panic. Off-screen, a woman's screams rang out, his mother's, followed by a frantic banging on a door. Then came the shots. 1, 2, then a quick burst of gunfire. Gabriel gasped.
They shot me! They shot me!
The blood on the floor spread quickly as the screen caught a brief glimpse of the armed men behind it all before cutting to black. His audience, nearly 200 live viewers at that moment, had just witnessed a horrific tragedy happen to one of Venezuela's most vocal online truth tellers. At just 25, Gabriel Asus Samto Rodriguez had made a name for himself as something of a digital vigilante.
Is this a different story? So, hold on, the first one, they just walked into his house just like that, like just for speak.
A computer programmer by trade, but a whistleblower by passion. Through his TikTok account, @Unleaks, Gabriel wasn't just chasing fame, he was calling out Venezuela's criminal underworld and, more dangerously, the state officials he believed were working hand in hand with him. His videos didn't dance around the truth, they pointed straight at it, often tagging politicians and law enforcement agencies, and even showing the faces of gang members he accused of murder, extortion, or kidnapping. It was as daring as it was risky, and it got him killed. He lived in Maracay, a city known for being the cradle of one of Latin America's most violent gangs, Tren de Aragua. The group was so dangerous that the U.S. had officially labeled it a transnational terrorist organization, even placing a $5 million bounty on its leader, Héctor Niño Guerrero. But that didn't scare Gabriel. In fact, it seemed to fuel him post after post. He talked about how law enforcement wasn't just turning a blind eye. Man, they were in on it. He accused Interior Minister Diosdado Cabello and even Aragua's own governor, Joana Sanchez, of complicity. And the threats came just as fast as the views. Gabriel tells his followers he'd been kidnapped by DAET officers, elite tactical agents supposedly there to fight organized crime. Instead, he said they were moonlighting for the very criminals they were supposed to hunt.
We're overrun with delinquent officials who work with common criminals,
he said in one of his.
So in the whole country, the criminals are the police and the police are the bodyguards or the dirty dogs for the criminals. That is ridiculous, you know.
Final videos. It was a desperate kind of truth-telling. The kind that felt like someone knocking loudly on every door, hoping someone might find.
So I don't think he's actually doing this just for fame, because for you to be living in the heart of all that danger and you be doing this at the same time, pretty damn dangerous, bro. It's really serious.
Open one, but no one did.
I don't think he's just doing it for fame.
And when he finally went live that day from his house in El Piñonal, it wasn't for clicks. It was a cry for help.
Okay, so it's the same story.
And as gunmen burst through his door, his mother screamed, tried to shield him, and took a bullet to the abdomen herself. Gabriel shot at least 9 times, bled out on camera. The government's response? Predictable. Attorney General Tariq William Saab announced that the 69th Prosecutor's Office against Organized Crime would open a formal investigation. But even before that statement ended, most Venezuelans had already decided it would go nowhere. Gabriel had warned them many times. that the people who wanted him dead didn't just wear masks, they wore badges. And it wasn't just Venezuela.
Wow.
Gabriel's murder was part of something bigger and darker, a terrifying trend sweeping throughout Latin America, where influencers who dared to challenge gangs, politicians, or both were being killed live in front of their followers.
So if they're going to do something like this, why don't they move out of the country first or something? Like, they should try moving out of the country before they do something like this. You get it?
Figure in Veracruz also met the same
Yeah,
fate.
and then this woman,
And
why did
Gabriel
she
had
die
seen it
now?
coming. In many of his recent videos, he mentioned feeling like a dead man walking. He said the threats were increasing. He even posted his location, almost daring someone to prove him right. Or maybe hoping someone would step in before it was too late. Yeah, they didn't. And now his account, which surged past 120,000 followers after his death, has turned into a digital shrine. His final posts are flooded with heartbreak, rage, and questions. Who sent the killers? Was it the gangs? Was it the police? Was there ever really a line between any of them? Globally, his murder stirred outrage. News outlets worldwide would pick up the story. Activists called for an international investigation. No one trusted the Venezuelan government to investigate this.
Oh, so that's why there's bounty. I think the president of Venezuela is wanted by Interpol, right? Now I get it now. Yeah, he has to go, bro. Like, this is bad, bro.
Believed that Tren de Aragua had truly been dismantled.
How can you be in a country and you can't even have your peace of mind?
Gabriel certainly didn't. His video said otherwise, and now, so does his blood. As of June 26th, 2025, no arrests have been made and no charges had been filed. The live stream that ended his life became the only true record of what happened that day. Everything else, like his warnings, his bravery, and his fight to be heard, was just buried beneath the same silence he spent his life trying to break.
You live in a country where you have to be turning your head to look around
2025, around 6:30 p.m.
First.
Jabari Johnson was doing what he always did, making people laugh. With his phone propped up and thousands tuned into his TikTok live, he flashed that familiar grin, playfully bantered with another creator in a match, and filled the screen with the kind of magnetic energy that had earned him nearly 1 million followers. But what none of them expected was how suddenly everything would shift. Out of nowhere, a man dressed in black walks up behind him. The mood didn't even have time to change. A gun was raised, shots rang out. Jabari collapsed mid-laugh, and the screen captured his final moments in real time. Now, Jabari wasn't just a TikTok personality. He was Baba Skang, a name known in nearly every Jamaican household with a smartphone. Born around the year 2000, he grew up surrounded by music and culture. His father, reggae artist Ja Mason, had made his mark in the 90s with hits like My Prince Is Gone and Love Is Amazing. But Jabari wasn't just following his footsteps, he was paving his own digital path. Whether as a comedian, an artist, or simply a vibrant online presence, Baba Skang brought joy. His videos, full of animated expressions, sharp humor, and that unmistakable Kingston energy, were raw, relatable, and deeply Jamaican. By 2025, he had over 1 million followers on TikTok and nearly 500,000 more on Instagram. But what truly mattered was the connection. I mean, people wouldn't just watch him, they felt like they knew him. And that's why his death hit so hard. One moment he's live online, the next he's lying face down on Red Hills Road, lifeless. Whoa. While bystanders screamed and the gunman calmly walked away. Man, that attack was brutal. The shooter, masked and holding a gun in his left hand, fired what some witnesses would say was close to 15 rounds, point blank. Jabari's hit in the head and upper body, and just like that, one of Jamaica's brightest digital stars.
So you see, I'm even getting chills from this. So you see, this is some of the reasons why doing live in public places is kind of risky too. Like, you literally don't have any enemy. Like, you can just be doing something and then someone out of nowhere, you don't even know him, you never heard of his name, like never spoken to him, never insulted him, nothing. And all of a sudden they'll just pull up on you and just come and do this for no reason, just because they hate you making it or something. A lot of these things, that's how it turns out to be. Like, it's people who don't even know you from anywhere, like just because of envy or hatred towards you as a creator or something, and they'll just come and do this to you. Bro, you can stay in your room and do your life, man. Unless you're someone who does IRL, and you have to have heavy guards around you.
Was gone.
And even that doesn't guarantee
and as he's pronounced
safety.
dead at the scene, the world around him could only watch and wonder why. As the video circulated, shock turned to sorrow. The comments flooded in.
No, not Baba. This can't be real.
And perhaps the most painful of all,
I was watching him live.
his fans weren't just viewers, they were witnesses. and the trauma spread with every replay. So police from the St. Andrew North Division launch an investigation, and by the end of the week, there are no arrests, no suspects, just silence. Whispers about gang involvement started swirling. People talked about online feuds escalating and whether TikTok fame was starting to carry a deadly price in places like Jamaica. And Jabari wasn't the first. In fact, he was the fourth Jamaican TikToker murdered in less than a year. It's becoming a terrifying pattern, one where fame, location tags, and a few viral moments could turn you into a target. For Jabari's family, the grief was immeasurable. His father, John Mason, confirmed his death, but was too heartbroken to speak publicly. Fans, fellow influencers, and even artists posted tributes. Some shared his old videos, and others wrote heartfelt captions about how his content got them through hard days.
Bro. What's this?
December 7th, 2024. The TikTok stream was already in full swing when everything suddenly went sideways. Xavier Nia Gang Foga was outside his home in Penton Lane, running a live match with another creator named Adibazan. And just moments earlier, the two had been trading jabs, talking big, tossing around lines about who's really bad, who could find whom, and what would happen if they did. It was all bravado, the kind of showmanship TikTok audiences had come to expect. But then a shift. Someone sitting beside him got nervous, looked off screen, and bolted. Xavier followed, and then came the sound. Gunshots, sharp, sudden, and far too real. The screen didn't capture the bullets, but it caught the screams, the chaos, and the silence that followed. And he was just 23 years old. To many of his nearly 250,000 TikTok followers, Xavier Foga was the definition of grind and glow up. Before the beamer, before the fame, and before the bars that got stuck in your head for days. This was just a kid hustling egg and plantain sandwiches to make ends meet. Yeah, he didn't come from much, but he came with heart. And you felt that in everything he did. His people knew him as a generous soul, the kind of guy who fed the community, literally and digitally, whether it was food, laughs, or vibes. Nia Gang always delivered. Now, his rise on TikTok wasn't luck. It was charisma, mixed with that hustle, seasoned with a distinctive lyrical flow that felt like it came straight from the pulse of the street. His freestyles wouldn't be just catchy, man. They were real. Real energy, real emotion, real Jamaican rhythm. He made you feel like you knew him, you know? And that was part of his magic. With the fame came friction. Xavier found himself caught in the middle of digital clashes. And these weren't just silly online spats, but they often walk a fine line between performance and provocation. I mean, they're made for compelling content, yeah, but they also make enemies. And still, despite the hype, police insisted that Xavier wasn't affiliated with any gang. According to Deputy Superintendent Michael Campbell, he wasn't on their radar. He was, by all official accounts, just a young man, using his phone and his voice to create something out of nothing. But sometimes, nothing is exactly what you get back when it matters. You see, that night while streaming with Adibazan, the tension in the air wasn't obvious. Not until it was. One of the men with Xavier spotted someone and just ran. So Xavier followed, and then came the gunfire. This poor guy was shot in the head and upper body, and once again, a Jamaican TikTok star had died live. Speculation swirled. Was it jealousy? Bad mind, some whispered. Others blamed the public beefs, the flexing, or the attention. His recent success, the new car, the viral videos, the growing fan base, may have made him a target for some reason. Security experts like Robert Finzi Smith would warn that oversharing on social media was turning influencers into marked men. People knew where to find you. They know your routines because you're showing them. And if they have a grudge with you, TikTok might just hand them the map. The police launched an investigation. Leads were thin at first. But then in January 2025, a name surfaced. Romaine Rumstain Thompson, already wanted for the 2023 murder of a police constable. Thompson was killed in a shootout with police in Manchester. He's linked to Xavier's killing, and just like that, the alleged trigger man was dead too. But the grief didn't die. A community mourned. Fans held vigils. Even Nicki Minaj tuned in, giving a $400 virtual lion to Xavier's mother during a TikTok Live memorial. The police later asked the family to stop streaming, hoping it wouldn't interfere with the case, but nothing could stop the tributes. Dancehall artist Gage revealed he had warned Xavier, telling him to stop streaming in public.
Youths, be careful.
But it was too late. A GoFundMe set up by Xavier's sister-in-law raised money for his funeral and his 4-year-old daughter, Renaya. Because while the rest of the world lost an entertainer, a little girl lost her father. Naya Gang's voice may be gone, but the echoes are...
Don't do it in public places. Like, it's different when, bro, like, you can literally, like I said, you can literally have 0 enemies and some idiots will still find a reason to hate you for no reason. Just stay in your room, do it, or if you're going to even do it in public places, like, make sure it's somewhere very, very safe. You know, very, very safe.
Everywhere, on phones, in freestyles, and in the haunting silence that now hangs over his final live stream.
A mother is now regretting sending her son outside to get fresh air, only for him to be murdered by gunmen a day after receiving a status letter from the University of the West Indies, UAE.
September 3rd, 2024, Keanu Popsy Watson stood outside his home on Dames Road in Almontown, Kingston, with a friend and his phone in hand. The TikTok Live had just started and his usual charm was already lighting up the screen. But then the sound of rapid gunfire cracked through the air, and then a blood-curdling scream shattered the calm, only to be replaced by an overwhelming silence. In this harrowing moment, witnesses were forced to confront the unthinkable. A gruesome scene unfolding with a 23-year-old university graduate, just 1 day after celebrating the completion of his degree. Popsy wasn't your average influencer chasing views. This was a young man with a quiet determination, someone who'd beaten the odds stacked high against him in one of Kingston's toughest neighborhoods. Keanu knew about struggle, intimately. He also knew about ambition, and he carried that like a badge of honor, especially for his mother, Sandra Blair, who called him her life and heartbeat. Their bond was more than just close. It was spiritual. He told her everything, especially about the weight he carried as the first in their family to go to university. When he finally got the confirmation from the University of West Indies that he'd met all his degree requirements,
he sent her a screenshot
and said,
"Mommy, me finally done with UWI. Me can get a peace of mind."
She didn't know it would be his last milestone he'd ever share. Now, he studied international relations and psychology, balancing work and the harsh realities of inner city life. Every win came at a cost. This man pushed through, quietly and purposefully, dreaming of a safer life beyond the sirens and stray bullets of Almontown. Online, he was Popsy. His TikTok persona was lively and magnetic, always cracking jokes and sharing relatable moments. Security experts had been sounding the alarms for months. Influencers were broadcasting too much, giving away their locations, their habits, and their vulnerabilities. It was digital self-hacking, they warned. But for Keanu, social media wasn't just about flexing. This was about connection. But unfortunately, someone else saw it differently. So around 7:45 p.m. that night, while the TikTok Live rolled on, gunmen approached. There were no words exchanged. No chance to run. Gunshots erupted midstream. Keanu collapsed. His friend beside him was also shot, but survived. The live stream caught the panic, the screams, and the aftermath. Sandra was crushed. She hadn't even stopped celebrating her son's degree before she was planning his funeral.
"Popsy wasn't just me son, him and me heart,"
she told the Jamaica Star. The grief wasn't just hers. It rippled across the community. Friends, neighbors, lecturers, and even fellow influencers shared their shock. Keanu wasn't a troublemaker, nor was he involved in gangs, and he wasn't even on the police's radar. He was just a young man with dreams, a degree, and a phone in his hand. Police haven't made any arrests in this case, but the theories abound. Some point to local feuds, others to the rising danger of flaunting success in a community where envy can be deadly. You know, one thing's for sure. Whatever killed Popsy, it wasn't just a bullet. This is a system, a cycle, a culture that devours its best and brightest before they even get a chance to shine. He was set to collect his degree certificate just a day after that shooting, proof that he'd made it, academically, emotionally, and symbolically. The certificate would have been the beginning of a new life.
I don't even know how to react to this
video
anymore.
It's like a tombstone reminder of what could have been. Sad. Keanu Watson left behind not just his family and a community, but a warning. In the age of live streams and likes, the cost of visibility has never been higher, and sometimes even doing everything right is not enough to outrun the violence waiting just beyond the screen.
Damn about that, fool.
That's the only part we can show you. The rest is just too gruesome to see. July 8th, 2021. The Insta Live had barely started. Zarel Indian Red Boy Rivera was smiling as he leaned back in the front seat of his red Audi, chatting casually with his friend Capone. The feed felt like any other day in Hawthorne, California. But when Rivera turned his head slightly, a flicker of recognition in his eyes, and within seconds, gunfire tore through that silence. 12 shots. His smile vanished.
Get help.
He gasped, barely audible.
I'm in Hawthorne.
Then the phone slipped. The live stream was cut, and just like that, he was gone. He was just 21 years old. Zerail had always been more than just a kid who was born in Inglewood, California, and grew up primarily in Long Beach. To his family, he was the boy who played basketball at Jordan High, who loved video games, sneakers, and just spending time with his younger brothers. This guy was funny. Hilarious, actually. The kind of guy who could lift energy out of a room without trying. His aunt, Jasmine Rivera, said he had this thing, this light. He loved helping out, whether that meant unpacking groceries or cutting grass for his elderly relatives. He was a big brother, a jokester, and a caretaker. But his world changed when his mother, Shawana Rivera, passed away. That wasn't just his mom. That was his anchor and his best friend. And after she died, something in Zerail shifted. The streets, which had always been there in the background, started pulling harder. And with 4 little brothers watching him, he felt the pressure to step up, to be strong, and to belong. That led him to music. It started in studios with friends, just messing around. But his voice stood out, raw, rhythmic, and laced with stories of love, pain, and survival. Under the name Indian Red Boy, he carves out a small but loyal fan base. His lyrics echoed the duality of his life, gritty and honest, but still filled with energy and hope. He had just over 16,000 followers on Instagram, but his impact went a lot further. People saw him as a voice for the neighborhood, a name on the rise, but this rising profile came with shadows. Zerail's social media painted a picture: gang signs, guns, red flags. The life he rapped about wasn't just for show. It bled into the digital space, where bound.
So, with these gang things you guys keep doing, I don't get that shit, bro. Like, you wake up because you were born in some neighborhood and some old geezer who's probably living somewhere else and he's not dead. And you have come to join the gang. You see, the worst part about all this gang shit is some of you don't even know the reason for the beef between the gangs. Like, you don't even know what started it. It could be that maybe this guy went for this guy's girlfriend and that was it. So you're here fighting over someone's girlfriend cheating on him with another man, and you've gone to join that gang and you're just doing stupid shit. Some of you, like literally 90% of these gang bangers and stuff don't know the reason or like the motive behind the gangs they are in or the rivalry, like the beefing and stuff. Bro, come on, man. You have to make sure you know everything, like deep down, how they started, why are we beefing with them? Like, bro, look at, I don't know if I should call their names, but there's these 2 gangs that have been able to make peace, and they're one of the most deadliest gangs on this planet. And they were even able to make peace for a certain period. I don't know if it's still continuing or they've cut ties again or something, but they were able to make peace and come together and do something or push some motion. That's like, even if it wasn't permanent, it was a first step towards ending this gang-related crimes and stuff in their neighborhood. You have to make sure you know what the gang's motive is, like the rivalry, the beefing and everything. You have to know how it started, how it's going, what's the end goal. Because you guys just can't be born, then you throw yourself into a gang and then you be killing each other just like that, bro. Come on, man. You
Under his
guys need to
blur,
live.
reputations are currency. Some said that he'd once been a part of the Hollywood Pyrus, a well-known blood set. Others claimed that he'd switched allegiances after a falling out with a friend over a woman. Whether that's true or not, what's certain is that he found himself in the
And they've also
crosshairs
said
of a
something about
world
the woman
where
too.
shifting loyalties can get you killed. And then there was the rumor, the one that exploded after his death, that he disrespected the late Nipsey Hussle by defacing his
God.
mural. The claim spread like wildfire, but some close to him said that it wasn't true. Others whispered it had nothing to do with that, and everything to do with betrayal, gang politics, jealousy, or maybe a personal grudge. The Hawthorne police called it a walk-up shooting, not random and certainly not accidental. Someone came specifically for him, and they didn't miss. When first responders got there, they find him slumped in his seat, already gone. 3 bullets to the head. The shooter had vanished.
God.
Surveillance footage is still being reviewed, and no arrests have been made. The video of his final
now?
moments went viral almost instantly. Man, this wasn't just tragic, it was horrifying. To see someone alive, laughing, and then just dead in real time, it breaks people.
1 minute he was smiling.
Wait, and how did they even
the
know
next
he was there? Like, okay, he was live, but still, you see, And I also kind of feel like with this live things, the platform also needs to do something more about protecting your privacy, like keeping your location closed. That's something I feel like they should be on live. Like they should put some measures in to try and block hackers from tracking your location and stuff. You get it? Because I'm probably sure it wasn't hard for him to find his location. You get it? So the app developers or social media platform owners and stuff like that, the companies, they should try to make sure that your live is not revealing your location. They can even max your location by putting you in a different location. That would also help. You get it? That would also help because some people, they don't even know where you are. Look at where you were sitting. How did they know that's where he was? It was in a car park. How do you know that's where he was to go and kill him?
He's gasping for air.
Bro, they
One
need to do
viewer
something
said,
about that.
even hardened fans weren't ready for that kind of rawness. His friend Capone, still visibly shaken, posted clips of them dancing together and wrote,
LL Indian Red, I love you, gang.
the grief was massive. Friends, family, fans would all flood the comments with disbelief in love. Jasmine Clark, a relative, started a GoFundMe to help cover funeral expenses. Even rapper The Game steps up with a $5,000 donation. The streets of Inglewood and Long Beach buzzed with conversations about loyalty, violence, and the price of visibility. Some remembered him for his music, others for his humor. Some just couldn't believe how fast it all happened. Zarel's story isn't clean. It's not a packaged narrative with a hero's arc. It's messy, complicated, and deeply human. He was a young man trying to navigate grief, legacy, and identity. A kid who turned to music for therapy, to family for strength, and to the streets for belonging. In the end, all those worlds collided in the most brutal way possible. And now, all that's left are memories. A silent Instagram feed, and the haunting echo of 12 gunshots on that summer afternoon.
Bro, how can you kill someone so casually, bro? Sounds sickening.
Hello? Hello?
What's
Can
happening
you speak
here?
English? Hello?
January 29th, 2025. The screen was live, the room dimly lit, and Salwan Momika was mid-sentence, ranting in his phone like he'd done dozens of times before. But this time, something was off. There was a faint noise in the background, then a flicker of movement, then chaos before gunshots rang out. By the next morning, news had spread. Salwan Saba Matthew Momika, the 38-year-old Iraqi refugee turned firebrand activist, was dead, murdered during a TikTok live stream in his Sordadaj apartment, just hours before a court was set to rule on charges tied to his Quran burning demonstrations. For some, this was the inevitable end to a life spent baiting controversy. For others, that was an execution broadcast in real time, a shocking reminder of the combustible mix of free speech, religious tension, and digital exposure. Momika's journey to that fateful night was nothing short of a
Why would you disrespect someone's religion? He burnt the Quran. Why would you do that?
zigzag. Born in Karakosh, Iraq, to a Syriac Catholic family, his life was first shaped by war and sectarianism. In his early years, he was just another student in Baghdad, studying hospitality. But as Islamic extremism grew, so did his radical pivot. First as a security guard for the Assyrian Patriotic Party, and then with armed Christian militias like the Syriac Democratic Union, and allegedly the Iran-backed Imam Ali Brigades, though he always insisted he was only part of their political wing. Now, his political ambitions wouldn't stop in Iraq. After fleeing to Europe, first Germany and then Sweden, Momika reinvented himself. In 2018, he applied for asylum, citing threats back home. Sweden granted him a 3-year permit, but behind the scenes, questions swirled. Was he a victim of sectarian politics, or a provocateur with a militant past? In Sweden, his behavior only deepened the mystery. A knife threat conviction in 2022, fleeting alliances with nationalist politicians, and then the bombshell, his Quran burnings, live streamed and orchestrated outside mosques, on Eid, and in symbolic public spaces. He wrapped the Quran in bacon, he kicked it like a football. And all the while, he insisted it was about challenging the ideology, not the people. But it didn't feel like that to millions. Riots broke out. Sweden.
You see, the thing with religion is, even if the people, like the genuine Muslims, are not angry at you for doing that, there's going to be someone who thinks he's the guardian of the religion who is going to attack you. I'm not saying it's a good thing, like that's a disclaimer. don't ever do it. Like I've even been saying it from the start. Don't do this. This is stupid. Don't go disrespecting someone's religion to make you feel good about yourself. Like, if you don't like their religion, just don't listen to it or don't interact with their religion. What's your problem? There are atheists around. No one interacts with them. They have their peace of mind. They're Christians. They have their peace of mind. Buddhists, whatever we call them, or everyone, all type of religions. There's literally lots of religions now these days. So why should you go and be burning someone's scriptures because you don't like their religion? Are you serious?
Its embassy in Baghdad was stormed. Turkish officials stalled Sweden's NATO application. And yet, under the umbrella of free speech, Momika marched on. The backlash was intense. There were threats. Authorities moved him to a secret address. In March 2024, he even tried fleeing to Norway, calling Sweden's protections hollow. But he was sent right back, and he stayed online, stayed defiant, and stayed controversial until the night of January 29th. Viewers tuning into his final live stream could tell that something wasn't right. He looked jittery, less in control, you know? Moments later, gunfire tore through that quiet. His voice was cut short. Police get there at 11:11 p.m. They find him slumped in his apartment and riddled with bullets. He died the next morning. Investigators moved quickly. 5 suspects taken into custody. One had a minor drug offense. The rest had no records at all. A weapon was found in a car linked to one of them. But by January 31st, they were all released due to insufficient evidence. Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson hinted at the possibility of foreign involvement. The security services joined the probe. In the wake of his death, the Stockholm court dropped his charges. His co-defendant, Salwan Momika, was sentenced days later. Meanwhile, the internet split. Al-Qaeda-affiliated accounts cheered Momika's death as divine justice. Others, including EU conservatives, decreed it as an attack on Western freedoms. In Sweden, the Muslim community largely called for peace. Some even recited Quranic verses at protest sites, refusing to meet provocation with hate. And yet, the discomfort lingered.
So, hold on. I don't also get it. Why do Christians and Muslims, mainly these two religions, why do they really like fighting a lot? Like, just in that video, that short clip, you can see someone with the cross and then one with the Quran, and you can tell it's like almost like they're fighting. I am sure in the Quran, I've never read the Quran, I am sure in the Quran there's no part of it that says fight people from other religions, right? If I'm wrong, you guys should let me know in the comment section. And I'm also sure, because I read the Bible, I studied Christian studies, so I know in the Bible there's no way that says you should be fighting other religious groups or something. So what's up? Why are you guys doing this? I don't understand. Why are you guys fighting? Who told you guys to fight each other?
Isn't just a symbol. This guy was a man with a past few fully understood.
Life is
a
precious,
present
bro. Like,
filled
don't
with
waste
fury,
your life, bro.
and a future that just ended in bloodshed.
But was
he a martyr
stupid.
of free speech, a calculated troll? Or
if you say free speech is different from this. Free speech is like you have the right to say what you want or whatever and still get away with it. But this is disrespecting the whole religion. And like there's millions of these people on the planet. What do you expect to happen?
just a man haunted by a ghost of militancy. Who knows? What remains clear is this: his life and death forced Sweden and the world to confront the limits of tolerance, the cost of provocation, and the terrifying speed at which conflict can leap from screen to street. On that January night, TikTok didn't just stream outrage, it streamed a murder, and everyone watched.
Bro, what the hell's wrong with my webcam? Hold on. Yeah, so my webcam stopped working. I might have to check what it is, but yeah, let me end the video here. I'll catch you guys in the next one, okay? Feel to talk to me in the comment section about this video, what you think, and if I made any wrong judgments in this video, okay? Don't forget to subscribe, support your boy, let's get to 3K. You subscribing, liking the video, and commenting lets me know you want to support me and see me go far. And if you want to see more content like this, or you have any content like this you want me to check out, don't forget to mention them in the comment section or hit me up on my socials, or sorry, drop them in the Discord. Yeah, I have a Discord channel now, so you can drop them in the Discord We'll review everything, then we'll make a video on it, okay? And then you get a free shout out too. So I'll catch you in the next video, okay? Y'all stay blessed. Have a good day. It's your boy B, to the G. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.